Live FSB Wednesday, Pro Cup Racing. Baby Jesus, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. No, this isn't Talladega Nights, this is FSBRacing.com. The best of the best of the best. And I'm here live with Greg Bernardo, our producer and announcer, and Rookie Cup soon to probably move up. What's up, Greg?
Welcome, Milty. Welcome, everyone. Love Talladega, Milty. I like the pack racing that we're going to see tonight, and with all these skilled drivers, I think it's going to be clean and exciting. I've seen 2 and 3 wide in practice, and they were looking pretty clean.
Yeah, and honestly, I was looking at this like last week after we broadcast as to be another race to race and broadcast, but a lot of things went on, including drinking beer for a few hours here. So, to respect to my fellow competitors, we're just going to broadcast tonight, but we're going to have fun with this.
Absolutely, we're going to have fun. Bill Farmer, especially, Milty, we're a little pressed for time here. Bill Farmer on the pole, so that's a nice pole by Bill. Mark Descends on the outside, and then the Tracy's own row 2, Milty. So some different faces at the front of the pack here. Robert Bokum, 9th. And Matt Watkins elected not to qualify. He'll be down in around 15th or so. So pack racing, Matt's going to have to find some drafting partners, which I don't think will be any problem for him.
Well, and when you look at this Super Speedway Series and the career of the 06, Bill Farmer, he runs well at these types of tracks, and there's no surprise, even though the fans here haven't really seen the 06 in our in our mirror. We're seeing them up in front here, and then the Tracy's, Ryan Tracy has dealt with internet connection, and he's also a problem, and he's also racing for the Rookie of the Year deal, the Gerber baby, and of course his pops right behind him, Scott Tracy, and Jeff Hale, the Super Speedway champion of last year. This guy can roll, so any of these guys can win.
Yeah, Milty, and
you say that, you can watch it on TV when DW says that in the real races, but seriously, any of these guys can win this race.
You're right, Milty, especially anyone at Talladega. It's getting in the right place at the right time, finding that air, and moving to the front and having some friends. And if you can put those things together, you can win here. Usually there's green flag stops involved, which is just crucial at the super speedways where you have to pit in a group. So you come out with some speed. If you pit on your own or you get hung out going into the pits by yourself, could spell big doom for you. So this will be an interesting race. I think we're going to see a lot of green flags. 76 laps, Milty. Looking at the fuel window, I saw around 18, possibly 19 laps.
Absolutely.
So a lot of stops are going to be required here to finish this race if it stays green for a bit, Milty.
Well, 1974 in the IMSA Championship, my dad won this race in the Greenwood Corvette, but that wasn't the oval. That was the oval and the road course. But so as a family history, I'm very proud of that. I'll just throw that out there, and then we'll move on. But this is definitely not the same thing. But these guys can drive, and they're great friends of ours. We had a great BS session before with several of these drivers, and I'm really looking at the 22 to do well here, and as I get to meet more these guys and have more and more talks, like we said about Josh Elliker, as you get to meet these guys, you realize how great the competition is in Pro Cup here. And
absolutely, Milty, and you also realize how they approach it and how serious they actually take it. They know
absolutely. They know everything.
Yeah, they know that the competition is going to be thinking of everything they can do to win. And if you just decide to show up and drive around, you're not going to be in contention. You need to have a game plan. You need to stick to it, and especially a track like Talladega, as the pace car cuts down pit lane. Especially at Talladega, you got to have communication with the people around you. You got to have teammates or friends, and you got to work together from lap 1 to the checkered, Milty, at 76 here for this race. As Bill leads them down, Milty, we're going to hit the green flag.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
And
so I throw that out there. That's the old Francis call there, and here we go racing here.
And Bill looks like got off to a little sluggish start there. And remember, this is restrictor plate racing. If you hit those gears a little funky, sometimes the car can take a little to wind up. But he's got a lot of support behind him, and that's what's the key here at Talladega. I don't think the outside line there. I think Mark might want to get down. I think the inside line early on is the way to go, and then work the outside as time wears on, Milty.
And if you're wondering, this is the Talladega NRT 500 version. And if you want to compare these drivers to the world, the invited drivers that got to run the actual NRT 500, you'll see that several of these drivers were in the top end, and that was a series of elimination races, and Matt Watkins damn near won that thing. He was one lap away from winning that race. With one to go, our own Matt Watkins was leading that race, but you know, that's Talladega, so that tells you
and there's
the skill level.
We got some contact, Milty. Unfortunately, it looked like Pops and TG got into it there. And Pop's heavy damage there down to the inside. But car, remember, moderate damage
That's
here,
TG
Milty.
Reese, too.
Yeah, and TG were involved with that. But we stay green, Milty, so those two are going to be at a severe disadvantage. Damaged cars and no benefit of a yellow flag there. Looked like they just got into each other there, and that's what can happen sometimes. You try to give someone a push sometimes, Milty, here, and if you don't hit them just right, sometimes you can get them a little out of shape.
Well, Talladega, what you want to do is push on the straight line, and then once you get towards the corner, you have to back off. You don't want to push a guy right as he's entering the corner, or pretty much in the corner at all. You want to get him on the straight line. You can get him in the kink, but you got to do it before or after, just to not upset the car and to benefit your push.
Yeah, and you can see that the inside line is the preferred line right now. Rick Johnson on the outside with Bill Weber, Derby Don working to try to make that outside line come into play, but right now it looks like they're fighting an uphill battle, Milty, but the inside line, many more cars.
Well, I'm looking for the 06 here. I do not see him. The pole sitter is disconnected. He pitted and disconnected. We're going to have to take a look at that.
Yeah, and just scrolling through, we saw TG, one of the guys involved in that early incident with Pops, rolling back out onto the track, lap down. So, not the way you want to start a race at Talladega, I know that.
While you're watching that, I'm going to go backwards and try to find out what happened to the 06.
Yeah, and yeah, Bill Farmer, our pole sitter, showing retired, and 19th place for Bill. Not sure why that happened, but Milty will investigate that for us. But Mark DeSenza continues to lead the race. And the Tracys right behind them, Scott and Ryan respectively. And then the closely followed by the 29 of Jeff Hale, 51 of Dave Jandry. On that inside line, working that outside line, Rick Johnson still doggedly working that outside line. And really not losing too much ground, but certainly not gaining any either right now. He needs a lot more help. He might need a guy to actually jump up ahead of him to pull the rest of these guys ahead, and maybe we're going to see that as the Tracys look like they had some plan there, and they both jump out and take Jeff Hale with them to the outside.
Well, that's a good guy to take with you. Looking back here, we see the 06 pull over and park. He either saw an internet issue going, or he had some personal emergency. This is with sim racing, you never know what could happen. And he pulled off the line, pulled over, and crossed the start-finish line and bolted. So that's a shame. It for the 06. He is back in his team channel, as I see on the scanner, but he hasn't joined as of yet.
That's a shame. Obviously he qualified on the pole, so obviously he was planning on racing. So obviously something came up there, Milty. Maybe we'll find out.
If he 11 years of sim racing. I've had the cat get run over. I've had the kid out in the yard. There's many times at FSB where I've had to stop what I'm doing and do real life. So you never know,
Absolutely, Milty.
Never know what happened.
But what we got on the track now, Milty, is a whole different running order. Ryan Tracy out front now is the new leader. Jeff Hale second, giving him the push. And it looks like now Mark DeSenza who had the lead, has fallen back to third. Now looks like Jeff looking on the inside, Ryan working the outside. So a lot of changes going on lap by lap here at Talladega.
Well, I see Bill Farmer is connected and then disconnected. His weak point has been internet connection, and I think and I've been through that too. And I'm starting to think he saw something happening there on his screen before he affected the field. He pulled off, which is great sportsmanship if that's what happened. But he is back in the race channel, but he is not on the track. So
yeah, that's too bad.
Halfway through here, we're looking at around lap 18 as your pit
about
stop.
lap 18, possibly if you did a really good job of keeping cars in front and behind you, Milty, and you feather the pedal at the appropriate times, you may be able to get 19, but you need partners, and I think the bulk of these guys are going to be looking at 17, maybe even a lap earlier than a lap later.
Well, and I can tell you something, which most of these guys know, but I know Team FSB knows. Look, okay, you can add, so 18 is going to get you to 72. It's not going to get you to 76. So if they're figuring this thing's going to go green, if you can pit, let's say you pit lap 16, you can get a half a tank and 2 tires and still make your fuel window here. If on a super speedway, they're not going to quite fill you up like they do on the regular track. So
I think they cut you down to 13 gallons, Milty.
Absolutely. So if you pit early, like around 16, and maybe some of these sim racers don't know this, but we didn't know it at FSB for a long time until we got drivers like Rick Johnson and Derby Don on our team, and we started to get the notes from their years of domination on speedways. And ECR and Rick Johnson and Danny Falcon, who's looking to rejoin the league. Also, we're talking about ex-drivers that have run here. We got a guy in number 7 there, Sean Sheaves, looking to rejoin the league way back from the beginning of the league. Talking 11 years. Good friend, and hope he gets back on the track.
Yeah, I saw that, Milty. I saw that. Some new guys joining in, and that's what it's all about here, man. Some guys have to leave, unfortunately, due to circumstances or not being able to devote the time to this, which it does take a little time. So if you can't devote the time, it's obviously something that you may, decide is something you got to take a break from, which you guys have done and come back, and it's completely normal for some guys that want to take a little break here and there anyways. So yeah, it's good to see guys that used to be in the league and then come back, and then they can gauge it, how it's grown and changed, and be the competition that it is now.
Yeah, especially good people with good standing. They have life things that go on, and but they're always welcome,
Yeah, and back to
we
the
got
race.
a lap car here.
Yeah, that's TG who was involved in that earlier incident with Pops, but looks like the outside line is completely collapsed, Milty, and the Tracys have been hung out to dry on the outside as slowly one car per lap, it almost seems like, on the bottom gets by them. And there's just no room for them either. They cannot blend in to that inside line without maybe hanging one of them out to dry, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah, with a smaller, 20 or minus size field, running the outside line early is not going to get you track position, but it really isn't that big of a deal, because the main thing is to stay in this draft. And as we see green flag running, we saw Monday night Sportsman Cup, the entire race was green, so you got to think that there's a good possibility that's going to happen again. So you make your moves in the pits and without making mistakes, and pit stops.
Pit stops are going to be huge here, Milty.
Huge.
We're getting close to that number that you talked about, number 16, lap 16, 16, 17, 18 max, really. At lap 18, you're going to have a gauge lighting up on you as you come into the pits.
Yeah, and I talked to in my team channel, I talked to the 49 and the 52. And wish them luck, and they were all business. They were all about executing, and you see them together working as a team, and that's how teams roll. And whatever you see the 49 and 52 do, they're going to do it together here, and they're looking to, that's plate racing. Coming in together, draft. When you come out of this pit stop, is so crucial to have a draft buddy and execute.
Oh, absolutely, Milty. And you can see it's now become one long single file with the front runners, Milty. Jeff Hale leading the procession. Mark DeSenza, Dave Jandry, Robert Bokum following the leader here. Outside is now just still not really. I personally, if I was in this race right now, I would be on the inside. I would just be logging my laps to my first green flag. I wouldn't even attempt the outside right now, Milty. Guys can get a touch loose sometimes in the turn, and if you're on the outside of them, then you're their wall, and you pay the price, and they usually keep going. So right now, I think I'd just be staying in line and communicating with my boys.
Yeah, absolutely. That's in NASCAR 2003, the way this track runs, that's absolutely the right, the preferred strategy. You also see these guys on the outside, and some guys are looking, because the difference is that it depends on, as we look at the scanner, we're at 17 now.
Yeah, 17, Milty.
So we're, those guys are hoping some of these front guys will pit sooner and let them go around the outside, keep their momentum, and then when they come out. But I'm looking at Team FSB probably down low there, pitting earlier and going with the flow.
Yeah, and we
got cars pitting we got no scanner chat right there. That was huge right there. Okay, they pitted.
Yeah, and
the 6 of
it looked like
Mark DeCinza and the 16 of Dan Francisconi. 191. They really pitted. I wish I'd have caught that. I was just looking at it.
It looked like the 29 of Jeff Hale slid into the grass, Milty, and then rejoined pit lane. And sometimes either you can get a speeding penalty there or a reckless driving hit, which is a severe penalty, which would almost end his night here under the green flag.
Yeah,
so we'll have to see what happens to Jeff there. I don't think good things are going to happen. I think he's either going to get hit with a speeding or a reckless there, Milty, depending on how he entered the pit lane. I think he might.
Now everybody's, we got a big wreck. The 52 gets turned. The 22's way out in the grass. The 42's around.
And the 42's got a flat tire, Milty.
22's got a flat tire too.
And there's still contact as they sort themselves out. Wow, Milty, that was crazy.
Has retired. The 47 is out.
So,
earlier winner this year, Ryan Tracy misses his stall with a flat tire, which is understandable because
it's hard to control the car, Milty. But looks like the rest of the guys seem to have gotten off pit lane. Matt Watkins included, as we see Matt, we haven't really even mentioned in this broadcast. He's been hanging out the back, but now here he comes, Matt Watkins. Clean stop, it looked like, for him. He stayed out of trouble, and he's rejoining the track here, Milty.
Well, how's this going to pan out? 52 lost some time there. I don't think he had damage, so he needs a draft buddy. That separates him from the 49, gets through clean, so Team FSB is going to have to find a new partner. It looks like it's going to be the 83 of Steve Weber.
And there we see Ryan finally rejoining the race. Must be really frustrating for Ryan as well. He did lead some laps early, right before that Jeff Hale took over, but now Jeff, I'm trying to look back to find what happened with Jeff here, Milty. And we can see that he's showing a lap down, so sure enough, it looks like Jeff Hale did have to absorb some kind of penalty here, Milty.
There you got the BF. That's the BF. Those aren't good initials right there.
And when you add in green flag plus BF, you equal an L, I think, Milty, as in loss of race. It's going to be hard to make up ground here at Talladega. So
watching a couple of cars here, a couple of Fords here, the 17, and because all of a sudden this is what makes them in for the boys. We watch this on TV. Of course, that's real racing, so you can throw this out the window because this ain't real, folks. But you know what? You still got to try to execute the same way that the real guys do, and you take your head off to what they do for real. It's absolutely amazing. But then again, you pick up the pieces here and you watch the guys that have executed and the guys that have been executed. So, and that'll be the 51 and guess who? The 18. But how about the 51 there? He's definitely a super speedway winner. But I like the 17 and 15 are together, but they're like 4 seconds. The 17 and the 51 are together, but they're seconds behind the 15. A huge gap between those 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th players until they get down to the top 5 or 6. Then you're within a second and a half.
Yeah, the top 7, as we see there, Milty, about 1.8 seconds separating the top 7. But then Matt Watkins kind of in no man's land here, where I think the guys behind him, the 17 and the 151, are going to pick up Matt Watkins. And the 3-car parlay is going to have to work some miracles, and hopefully they'll be able to chase down or join into a bigger group, etc., etc., and that's how you can catch a leader pack. But you're going to have a lot of cooperation and maybe even a little luck.
You have to have a lot of luck, and I've won here in the Daytona. I was fortunate enough to win the first Pro Cup race of the season at Daytona, and you gotta. I mean, I drive cockpit view. There are several options you can. The view is different, but just from the cockpit view, when you pit, it's tunnel vision. You have to execute perfectly, and then you'll also have to have someone else execute with you. You can't do it by yourself here. This isn't where you can do like Matt Watkins and usually just win the race. As you see now, the 17 and the 151 coming up on the 15. Matt dropped off the gas to let these guys catch him, just to give himself a chance, because he can't do it by himself.
Absolutely, Melty. You got to have buddies. You got to have drafting partners, and we can see what drafting partners do as
and
the 80.
5 seconds back.
As the in this lead pack here, the 83 Steve Weber, 49 Derby Don, and 191 Mike Sanders all have caught the lead pack as the lead pack was swapping hard positions there. Dave Jandry went from the lead to 4th, and now that pack of 3 cars on the outside is really making a run, and Ryan Tracy right in front of him, desperately hoping for a caution to get him back where he needs to be, but I think he's going to be disappointed.
If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have no luck at all. But you and I were both talking to him before the race, and what a great guy. Not much older than my daughter, who's 22, and of course his dad's racing in the 42 there, and you just like his attitude and his respect for the league. He's a champion and everywhere he's raced, and they choose to race here because of the competition, him and his dad, and the sportsmanship and the whole package that FSB has to offer. And to us, we shake his hand.
Absolutely.
We're welcome.
Absolutely.
And when you race against great drivers, sometimes shit don't go your way, and sometimes it never goes your way. But the fact that you're competing against some of the best, there's still great drivers out there that could sign up for this league and race with these competitors and make a mark, and we ain't going nowhere. So
absolutely, Milty. And now we have a pack of 7 in the lead draft, and they're joined by the 22 of Ryan Tracy, who's a lap down. But he's only going to help that outside line if he chooses to stick with him, Milty. So now we have an even 4-on-4 battle, 4 on the inside, 4 on the outside. As we drop back from that lead pack, Milty, Matt Watkins, T-Roy, and Guy Petra want them to stay side by side and 2 wide as long as possible. Hopefully they can stay in line and run fastest laps possible and see what can happen.
Well, lest we forget that 191 there qualified on pole in the Pro Cup at Las Vegas, his hometown. Sin City Racing, they're going to be the sponsor of the Indy 500 again, folks, which is an epic deal. Me and Jim will be broadcasting so that Greg can run, and we wish you luck. You're going to need it. But you know what? You got the skill. You can win that race just like any one of these guys can win this race. So, but
I wouldn't.
Michael Sanders is not to be denied here. He's a solid pick that could win this race.
Oh, absolutely, Milty. Anyone in this group of 7 leaders can easily win this race, and all have won races. Man, now Steve Weber, I don't believe has won a Pro Cup race, Milty. But man, how about Steve Weber getting his first win at Talladega? How about that?
Well, how about I'd be jumping, I'd be screaming. You watch guys, you get to know people, and he's one of the greatest people I've ever met in sim racing. Just because he's a great friend and also a great understanding of what we're trying to do here, which is have good, hard, clean racing, and and now he's put himself in the chance, skill wise, in the position to really compete for these wins. And
yeah, and he's certainly doing that right now with him and Robert Bokum leading their lines respectively. Inside Robert Bokum, outside Steve Weber, and very equally matched vehicles here. As we see, the restrictor plate really evens the playing field out. But the guys are in the pack are the ones that need to be there. Derby Don, and he's battling, maybe not for the championship with Matt Watkins' lead, but he's certainly battling for second place, which is nothing to sneeze about, to say you finish runner-up in Pro Cup.
Oh, heck no. You get in the... if you're a Pro Cup driver, there's nothing to sneeze about.
You're absolutely
but then
right.
when you go for... when you're accepted as a Pro Cup driver, you're voted in by the Pro Cup drivers. No other series is like that. Every other series is voted in by the administrators, which is pretty much Pro Cup drivers and smart guys that know exactly what guys are doing on the track, sportsmanship and skill level, and it's not about there's opportunities for anybody that wants to sim race, But this is the pros right here. This is as good as we have,
Absolutely, and it looks like Steve Weber is abandoning his outside line friends here. Milty dove down in front of Robert Bokum, and now they're pushing that inside line, so it's a 5-on-3 battle now. And I think if I'm Derby and Mike Sanders, I'm kind of like, dude, we got you there, man. You left us. So we'll see how that plays out. Derby Don's a good-hearted guy. He'll work with anyone that needs to get worked with. But that's hard to. I know that feeling when you see that guy in front of you dive down to the other line and watch the other line pull away. But now maybe Steve's having a little regret here, Milty, as he jumps onto the outside again.
TG Reese still running around there, getting way up high, letting the guys go by. He's just trying to get points for his team, and on a super speedway you can do that, and that also shows the character of the driver. Just other tracks you're better off probably parking it than getting in the way, but there he was. On these tracks I'd be doing the same thing, just riding around trying to get everything I can. So,
Milty,
now you're looking. Now we got 4 and 4 again.
Yes,
this thing's going to be like an amoeba. It's going to ebb and flow.
And Milty, looking at the running order here, as I just scroll through it, I see that the 52 of Rick Johnson is showing accident and out of the race. I don't know if accident is referring to that contact we saw in pit lane. He did get turned sideways, and there was some contact with other cars as he got sideways, but not sure if he might have wrecked on his own that we didn't see off camera. Maybe you could check that out.
Yeah,
see,
take a look and see what happened.
But showing Rick Johnson out of the race now. So some guys, some attrition hitting the field here, but this top pack of 8 cars, 7 on the lead lap. Ryan Tracy just one lap down, so he's right where he needs to be. If the caution were to come out, I think he might be a little too far back to get the lap back. But he's running with the lead pack. The car looks good, so it doesn't look off pace or anything. He's anchoring that outside line quite well, and now Steve Weber has jumped down again to the inside line. So Steve Weber playing both sides of the fence as he leads the race here. He'll work with the outside if it will push him, then he jumps back down to the inside and looks like he's stretching the lead a little, as now that outside line is just disintegrated into Derby Don and Mike Sanders. Looks like Ryan Tracy has also joined the inside line. So Ryan thinking of what he needs to do to get that lap back, Milty, and he's got to be in the fastest line if he's going to think for himself.
Well, we're looking back. We see what happened. The 52 was trying to follow the Ken Ron in the 303. They were back a ways, and but I think when the 52 got turned there, I don't think he got tires. make it into a caution, and it looked like the right front, something blue on the 52. He went straight into the wall, and after that, he parked it.
That's too bad for Rick.
Four-time Cup champion, but he knew his day was over and pulls it in, parked it.
And that's gonna have a hit on the points for Rick as well. So points will shuffle. And speaking of point shuffle, Matt Watkins, Milty, is our.
We got pit stops.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention we're hitting lap 35, Milty. So 17 and 17 is 34. So 35. We should really be seeing, and there we do see some guys coming into the pits.
Green flag racing.
We see teammates, the 5 and the 6, have pitted together, but they're the only two that took that first jump down pit lane, Milty. So 2-car only. We'll see how that plays out.
191, the 83, Matt Watkins pitting.
Yeah, we see the 42 of Mike Tracy, and 16 of Dan Francisconi in the pits. Now we see we scroll back to this lead group led by Steve Weber, Robert Bokum.
51, the leader is, our former leader is pitting. 83
yeah, it looks like Steve Weber pitting, Robert Bokum pitting. So it looks like this whole lead pack now, Milty, is pitting. And Steve Weber gets a little loose and into the inside pit lane wall, Milty. It looks like he's recovered okay. He still gets in right behind Mike Sanders. Don't want to speed here, Steve. Keep it together. Matt Watkins.
Oh, Matt Watkins.
Really loose up at the top of the screen, Milty. Wow. Matt Watkins really pushing it to the limit to try to catch this lead group. Matt Watkins just, does he want to win, Milty? Jesus, doesn't he have enough wins? No, he doesn't. He wants to win again. And you got to love that in him.
Well, and you got to love the if you want to be something in your gaming and your sim racing, you want to race against the best. This is the bar that you have to beat.
Absolutely, Milty, and we see the bar is raised very high. Steve Weber, unfortunately, maybe pushed it beyond the limit there, Milty. Got loose into pit lane.
That's why it's so hard to win a Pro Cup race. I mean, you got to put it all together. We saw it. He had all the cards in his hands there, but executing at the end, and these pit stops are very difficult.
Yeah, and we can see this set of green flag stops, Milty, has really fragmented the field. Robert Bokum, Dave Jandry have separated by 6 seconds over Derby Don in third. But I think the 6 and the 5 have now passed both Derby Don and Steve Weber. So that puts the 6 and the 5 up in the third and fourth.
Like no other racing, no other track, you have to come from 200 miles an hour down to 55, and you got to do it as fast or faster than everybody else and not screw up, and then execute and slide in your pit stall, which seems like you're crawling. The sensation of speed, especially in sim racing, where we're basically dealing with two-dimensional view as opposed to in real racing we have three-dimensional. We have 3 screens. It's still, which a lot of these guys do. It's very difficult. Yeah,
that's probably one of, and this pit lane. It's not the most difficult pit lane, but what happens is because it's not hard to get down onto the pit area, Milty, you tend to want to give it that gas right into the end. You want to max out your time, and push it beyond that one spot where if you don't get onto the brakes, you're going to be in trouble. Things can happen. You get loose, the back end comes around, you slide through the line and get a penalty, or you get loose into the grass or wreck it into the wall. And we've seen several guys make mistakes on pit lane tonight.
Well, like my lucky win there against Matt at Daytona. At Daytona, there's the there's a big tower on the inside left that's your visual braking point. And it's one thing when you're on the inside of a car, but to execute it on the outside, you know, if I'd have done that 10 times, that would have beat me 9 times out of 10. But that one time I pulled it off. So when you're looking at the pressure, it's on these guys to execute that. They're looking at a visual point that they've done in practice. Make no mistake, these guys they don't just all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, we got a pit stop. How do I pit? They've practiced this stuff throughout their career and their practice sessions. You know, everybody's got to work. They got a lot real life, but you know, basically they've all got an hour to get it together, and they've all done it. They've executed it throughout practice. But with race time, it's a little bit different.
It's time to turn the dial up just a little more.
Your pecker starts to shiver, you know.
Speak for yourself, Milty, but we can see what's happened with Steve Webber's mistake, Milty, in the pits. He's fallen back into the clutches of Guy Petra and Matt Watkins.
Absolutely.
Which maybe will benefit Webber in the long run.
Well, that's, you know, this race ain't over. We're just on the halfway point right now, and the caution comes out. You know, right now you got to you know, unfortunately for the 22, he's a lap down, but his dad's on the tail end of that lap, and in the 42, Scott, and get the caution. These things line up. You don't have any damage. Just restart. Let's do this, you know. And
unfortunately for Derby Don, Milty, he just could not hang with the 6 and the 5 as they drove away from the pits together. Derby Don was just not able to hook on, and that was the difference between 2 seconds back of the leader and 10. And he's
so many times I've thrown races away like that where I thought I had a chance or this and that, and then when you actually make it happen, you respect how hard it is. And I'm telling you, this at this level, it's absolute at the edge for every one of these guys.
Yeah, and the fact that Ryan Tracy has joined the 6 and the 5 has really impacted this draft, Milty, as the DeSenza and Sean Johnson have caught the draft, I believe, of Robert Bokum and Dave Jandry. So we're going to have a 4-car lead pack with, again, Ryan Tracy. It's really a shame, Milty. If he was not a lap down, I think he would be running right there in 5th, if not for some unfortunate green flag first stop of the race there, Milty. But he's doing great, and he's really helping the 6 and the 5. Without him, they would not have been able to cut this gap like they had so quickly.
Yeah, and the teammate thing goes out the window. And these guys, him and his dad, both are smart racers. They see the situation. You know, a lap down, obviously he's looking to get his lap back, but he knows FSB rules. But we're out here to race, man. So
absolutely, Milty. But now
he's got the skill not to hurt anybody, but he can help and also put himself in the position. You know, right here now, the caution comes out, and there's plenty of room to go. These drivers will let him by and get his lap back.
Absolutely, and this is where he has to be, Milty. He has to be with his lead draft.
Absolutely.
And as close to the leader as possible, so if the caution does come out, you know, the leader recognizes that. Of course, Robert Bokum, heads-up driver, obviously knows that Ryan's on the tail end of this draft, and also knows he's a lap down. So Robert already knows that, and thinking ahead, saying if it's caution, you know, he's talking to his teammates, Sean and Mark DeSenza, and saying, hey, you know, we'll let off the gas a little and let Ryan get his lap back. So everyone already knows. Dave Jandry, of course, not on the team channel with them, but you know, Dave, he's not gonna. He knows exactly what's going on too. So
absolutely,
won't be any issues there.
Yeah, there's really no a verbal communication that needs to be said because they know what they have to do as a group to better their own fortunes. And
So,
yeah,
well, it looks like what we got developed now, Milty, as we go to another green flag stop coming up. 4-car lead pack, 12 seconds back, 4-car draft trying to catch them. 83, 151, 15, and 49 are in the chase pack. If those boys can stay together, we know the skill level of those four is very high. So 4 against 4, but the wild card, Milty, the 22
it's a
car.
pit stop.
And the 22 car.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
5 cars goes faster than 4, and Ryan Tracy right now, the lap down car in 10th place, is really impacting this race in many ways.
Oh, you know, 18 times 3, that's 54. So
yeah, we're hitting 47 LT of 76, so about 7 laps away from seeing some more action. And of course, now the way these cars have separated, Milty, it definitely has a look of no yellow flags for to the detriment, I think, of Ryan Tracy. But again, now Ryan here, if you can pit with this lead group and just knock the hell out of the pit stop, he could pick up a couple positions and get closer to the leader, and you know,
absolutely,
things can happen. That's what I would do, and that's what I would be thinking if I'm Ryan Tracy. I'm thinking this is going to be the pit stop of my life. That could change, go from a lap down to lead lap again. And like you said in FSB, Milty, when you get a lap back, you've earned it.
I've been paying attention to your season this year, and I've seen you do this a couple times. In the rookie division, which soon to be called the FSB division, but I've seen you do this racing for championships. I keep an eye out on the FSB Live channel, which, folks, we don't broadcast every night, but we do have the FSB channel, and turn your computer on and watch. And
absolutely,
and, you know from experience, because I've watched how you run, you know, and you fight the fight to the end, but you also, you know, you got to have a good car to do it, and this guy and obviously Ryan does. Yeah, we're not focusing so much on these other guys. Let's look at the 51 and 6 and the 5. They're just running around, but this is pro sim racing. This is these pit stops. They've earned their place in this position, and now that your reward is you have to execute again. And they're all going to pit together. Try to pit it. You know, when you pit at Talladega or Daytona, you have to pick a lane. If you want to beat somebody, you have to pick a different lane. If you want to, but the thing is, not all of them are on radio transmission to each other. The teammates are together here, and so in your mind, you're thinking, okay, we're in the lead group, even the lapper, you know, Ryan. So we gotta pit together, get out, use the draft, because the draft is everything, and our execution of pit stops. So
yeah,
let's see how this folds.
When guys, what I've experienced it, I've experienced the highs and lows of group pitting. And when you pit as a group and all come out and you all hook up right out immediately, you feel like $1 million. And
when you wreck your teammate,
or when you you know, overshoot a pit, or you guys have problems with the lug nuts or something, and you fragment yourselves out, you really do a disservice to a big group of guys as well. And so it can be a feast or famine type pit stop.
They're going around the 17 to T-Roy, still racing for top 10 points here. You know, T-Roy, great friend, and that guy can cook chicken like you wouldn't believe. He's like, he's built like Johnny Bench, you know, big old guy, and he can drink tequila and cook like 3 barbecues of chicken at the same time and entertain. Him and his wife are great people. Great friends, great things you learn when you involved in the sim racing league, and pit stops are coming.
Yeah, they got to be coming, Milty. We're hitting lap 51, like you said. If we do the 18 math, we come out to 54, so maybe about 3 laps away. But now T-Roy has hooked on to this lead pack, I believe.
Yeah, he's got the draft,
which is only going to help the front runners and hurt the Matt Watkins Derby Don group. Desperately trying to make way, and we can see that when I just flashed up the running order, Milty, they were about 12 seconds behind. Now they're about 13.4. So you can see that those 2 lap cars now of Ryan and T-Roy, and we got some pit stops going on.
Oh, the 6 locks him up. Hey, you can shake a stick at this stuff if you want, but this is pro sim racing. These guys are badass, man.
Yeah, and
that was awesome right there. Watching him and the 5 going side by side there.
That's right. The 6 and the 5 also pitted together last green flag stop, so no surprise, teammates. Robert Bokum, also a teammate, did not pit though, Milty. So
he's got the 51. I think him and the 51 are dialed in there, not teammates.
Interesting strategy. Robert Bokum, usually a team leader, orchestrates the pit stops like a maestro. But
they work as a team too, and
here we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dave Jandry
Racing or any of these teams, these guys are not going to begrudge their other teammates a chance to win on a different strategy. So they're going to do what they need to do.
So
and I know, there's no way Robert's going to say, hey, as Bokum pits.
Dave Jandry staying out with Ryan Tracy, the lap down car. He's
got a draft though. He's got a buddy there. That's interesting. Absolutely.
Very interesting. Dave Jandry, the leader of the race, now on his own, basically. Does have Ryan to have his back, it appears. But let's follow them into the pits here, because if Ryan doesn't stop with Dave here,
come on.
And Ryan continues on, so Dave Jandry might be in trouble here, Milty, as he gets back up to speed.
He'll still pick up drivers from the other run there, but
and here we see the second group of cars all pitting together, Milty. The second group, well organized, 49 Derby Don and 15 Matt Watkins.
Yep.
Steve Weber, Guy Petra, all pitted as a flying wing. It looked like coming into pit lane. Well orchestrated pit stops by these 4.
This pro racing right here. You do not. Well, I shouldn't say you do not know, because you're a sim racer, and but this stuff is very difficult to execute. Something like that, man.
And there we see
with the steering wheel in your hand.
The second group of 4, Derby Don, banging some doors of Guy Petra, but they all come out in a group as well, and this is really going to be a big boost to them, Milty. All coming out as a group.
Scott Tracy a lot down. He's praying for a caution. He's not going to get it. He's going to have to pit here. That's the only option the 42 has, but he's letting them by, which is a good realistic move here, I think. But he might be pitting. I'm looking. The 42 has not signaled he's going to pit, but he's probably going to pit this lap. Here comes the 42.
And we see Dave Jandry out front still. Let's as he crosses the line here, Milty, let's check his lead. It was 11 seconds, but he's all by himself. Now it's down to 2 seconds, Milty. So 9-second lead shaved off in just 1 lap there, as the train picks back steam up. 18, the 6, and the 5 all together, trying to chase down Dave Jandry, and they will chase him down, Milty, if he's by himself. And they'll freight train right by him as well, as Dave knows he's a sitting duck right now. There's Ryan Tracy did get out ahead of Dave Jandry as well, so he's technically.
He'll pick their draft up.
Yeah, he needs to hook on right now.
As long as he holds the bottom line. And now what you got to do is protect the bottom line. He's got a lapper behind him. He's got the 22 right behind him, that's what we talked about. If he had him, they're going to have to go high, but they got numbers. Now we start talking about the high line. The high line doesn't mean diddly until it's go time, and you got mono on mono, numbers versus numbers.
Yeah.
Now it gets interesting.
Yes, and the numbers look very bad for Dave Jandry. Unfortunately, the 4 Boca Motorsports drivers involved in this draft. Ken Ron also trying to hook on. He is laps down, but Ken's a good teammate. If he can push these guys to a victory, you know he's going to do it. And Dave Jandry's going to have his hands full here, as he's really the only other lead lap car in this pack of Bochum.
Yeah, and Ken's a great driver and a great admin, great friend. We had some contact in last week's race, but it was just good hard racing, and that's what happens. It's done, you know, and you move on. And this guy's a class act, and he's got a shot at this baby too, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he has a shot at his race, but he's always
down a lap. That's right.
Yeah, he's led laps this year, and he's been in contention to win. He's won many races in the past as well. So Ken certainly is going to be in victory lane in Pro Cup. It's just a matter of time. This is second group, Milty. Remember, they were about 13 and a half or so seconds right before the green flag stops. They're now 12.8, so they really didn't gain much ground. And with those lap cars helping that lead group, I don't see many good tidings in the future of these 4.
Yeah, well, this Pro Cup Wednesday night, so unless somebody kablamos, we're watching the execution of these guys in real life. And kids at home, if you haven't sim raced, you don't realize we're kind of going through the motions as announcers here, but or trying to describe it the best we can. But I don't know if you can describe it, the skill level of what it takes to do what these guys are doing, unless you've done it or you're a big fan like I am, or big fan of real racing. Just like we've watched Talladega this week, the good moves and the bad moves. You see all the controversy in real racing. Yeah, in sim racing, we're not getting paid. There's, so sportsmanship is a premium, and all these drivers have to execute that in private and in public. Especially in public, so it's a huge demand on a sim racer as far as executing and also doing the right thing at all time, and these guys are the cream of the crop.
They sure are, and the one that's risen to the top currently is the 18 of Robert Bochum, and it's the 6 and the 5. So the 18, 6 and 5 have run a great race so far. Good strategy. They've pitted together for the most part, with the exception of that last pit stop, and they've worked well. They've drafted smartly. They haven't pushed the issue. They haven't gone too wide and done anything crazy, and that's benefited them. And Dave Jandry is flying the Bochum ointment. Milty, he's in 4th. And we see short pitting here by the Bochum team. That's a short pit by Robert Bochum.
Oh!
That's some short pitting by Team Bochum there, Milty. As you said, this is where taking the shorter amount of gas here, Milty, may result in faster pit stop. You talked about that earlier.
So they're going to take 2 or 4. You got to take 2 with the fuel. Robert going left side tires, because if you pit left side and exit, perfect execution for the 18 there.
And
that's
the
exactly what you got to do. And the 6. Look, it's easier to get to the inside tires than the outside. It's faster. So what you want to do is the tire wear is virtually the same. So you're getting a can of gas, and you're getting 2 tires. You get the inside tires there. You look at Boca Motorsports.
And there we see
that's
Dave Jandry and
awesome
the 3 lap cars of Ryan Tracy, Scott Tracy, and T-Roy have all pitted the very next lap. So Dave Jandry has friends, which is crucial for if he's going to have any chance of winning.
Absolutely. And you know, T-Roy, any of these drivers, you're a lap down, but you got a good car. You're not going to affect the outcome. You're still racing for your spot, but T-Roy's got an undamaged car there. You know, let's help somebody. Let's get in the mix here, and that's totally ethically and racingly, you know, sound, and that's what I would do.
So how has this short pitting affected the Matt Watkins group? We'll call him, as Matt Watkins is the leader of this group.
Well, if they get a pit stop, the guys are screwed. Otherwise, they're going to be pitting. Okay, 18 times 5 is lap 9. 18 times 4 is
72.
lap 72. So that's when they're going to have to pit.
And if I'm hitting at 72, I'm splashing and going, no tire move.
Yeah, but these guys have already done 2 tires, and that's going to hurt them. That's going to hurt them big. The question is, are they on the lead lap still? To see if it recycles, and they're still on the lead lap, then they're not going to die if
Milty,
if the caution comes out.
Looking at this race line here, Milty, it looks like Robert Boca may have gotten a penalty.
Looking at the scanner.
The 51 and the 18 are now showing a lap down, Milty. So
we saw that pit stop live, and it was
hairy.
The tires.
Yeah, it was a hairy pit stop, and it looks like now the 6 and the 5 are trying to stay on the tail end now, we'll call it, of the lead lap. The lead lap being led by the 15 of Matt Watkins, and then his group of 3 behind him, Guy Petra, Steve Weber, and Derby Don. And those guys are now the 4 leaders. So now if you're Matt Watkins and you see that Robert Bochum got a penalty, Dave Jandry's a lap
51
down.
is pitting. I think the 18 is acknowledging he's going to have to pit too. I pulled this off against Matt Watkins. And if he, like I said, you try it 10 times, you're going to pull it off once. And these guys didn't pull it off this time. It's just like NASCAR scoring. You have scoring lines. You can cross the start finish. You can cross the pit entrance over 55 miles an hour, but you got to average 55 miles an hour when you hit the next scoring mark. So if you blow it at that point, you got to be on the brakes. You can't let off the brakes, and you got to be probably around 52 when you hit the first scoring mark.
Number
and what I saw was that Bochum and because I was watching it right when you brought it up there, Bochum and Jandry were both at 55 at the second scoring marker. So I think they,
that would tell me that they entered, obviously, crossing the...
Caution is out! Caution is out!
Well, and that's a
and he hasn't pitted yet.
No, the group of 4 has not pitted yet, but that's a big help for the 6 and the 5, who will pick up about 28 seconds.
What the heck happened?
Don't know.
Very unlikely that this would happen.
We are still green, as far as I can tell, Milty. So I don't know what you're looking at, but
well, then he must have pitted under green then.
And
yeah, it's still green. You're absolutely right.
We're still green, and
so Robert pitted. So that, my bad. That was Robert pitting to serve his penalty.
Right, and Dave Jandry has also served a penalty. Now he's 2 laps down. So you can see one mistake and you go from leader to basically an also ran. But Matt Watkins again let's give a shout out to Monsoon Motorsports, Milty. They've had a tough season. Robert Bokum's team has really showed up in force in nearly every series and have just dominated. Not just Robert Bokum either, Milty. Let's give a shout out to the rest of the guys. Mark DeSenza's won a ton of races. Sean Johnson's won races. As we said, Ken Ron's been scoring points for him almost every week in one series or another.
Team.
And look at the 3 guys here: Matt Watkins, Guy Petra, and Bill Weber. They're running together. They communicated, I'm sure, this whole race. They ran the good race so far, you know. And they got 7 laps to go. They got a pit though, and they got a 29-second lead basically over DeSenza and Johnson.
Well, we talked about
29 seconds. Milty, I'm almost thinking 29 seconds might be enough to go down and gas and go. So this is going to be a really thrilling finish. We can see Matt Watkins, Guy Petra, Bill Weber, and Derby Don in line, continuing to run. We're on lap 70. We think about on lap 72. They will be coming in for fuel, but they also have the 51 of Dave Jandry on this line and the 17 of T-Roy. So they are getting some additional help as well to stretch that lead as long as they can from Mark and Sean. Mark and Sean do not have to pit again, so this is going to be a really interesting finish.
Yeah, because that other group don't have to pit again, so they're a lap down, but that they're not going to be aside from the 18 who had a black flag stop there. So I'm going to get me a beer and I'll be right back. We're going to watch the end of this.
Yeah, so you hit 5 laps to go here, lap 71 to 76. We're going to keep an eye on this group of top 4 leaders of the race, and they have not pitted. The group chasing them, namely the 6 and the 5 in 5th and 6th place, have already completed their last stop. So again, doing math here as we've done, 18 times 4 is lap 72. So sometime lap 72 or 73, I would expect to see these guys in. Now as we hit 72, I'd expect to see these guys in next lap. I'd expect to see no tires. I'd expect to see half can only. I think you need more than a splash to do 4 laps. And I would not want to put a splash in and then be a lap short either. But I don't want to lose the lead. So this is going to be a tough decision for these guys as well with 4 laps. And here we go. There's the top 4. There's a little contact from Steve Weber and Matt Watkins. And Weber comes spinning around into the grass. Terrible break for Weber. And got into the back of his teammate Matt Watkins. I don't know if there's any damage there from Matt, or if it pushed him across the line, or did any other kind of weird stuff. But this group of 4 did not execute the way that they needed to. And we can we see Matt Watkins and Derby Don.
It's pressure time, folks.
Leaving pit lane. We're going to keep an eye on them. And there we see the 6 and the 5 have gotten by him. And this race is over, Milty.
Well, that's sim racing, man, and that's, you know, how fast it happens, man.
Yeah, the 6 and the 5 with Robert Bokum pushing and helping his team. Looks like the short pit was the right strategy.
Well, you didn't lose time on the track, but the fact was is that when they came in together, they came in as a team, and also the lap cars were also on board, and Robert Bokum was, I'm sure he was going through the channel there, making sure that that's all they execute, and we say the word execute, and it's pretty much how, that's the difference between winning and failure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's going to look like a Mark DeSenza, Sean Johnson winner. I don't know which one will win it. Mark DeSenza in the lead currently. Sean Johnson right behind him. Matt Watkins now 11 seconds.
Well, now this is 3 teammates, and I know in our team it's with 2 to go. Our role is now it's on. We got ourselves in this position. Now it's time to race to the win. You can't begrudge your teammates, and not as Robert as a team leader, team owner. There's no way he would do that. There's no way these guys would fly with him if he did that. So
yeah, and looking at the roof,
so they're gonna race for the win here. So we got a show here. If they go too wide, they're not gonna just run 3 wide into the center. There's no way. I know Team FSB wouldn't do that. We're here. There's 3 of us. May the best man win. They're gonna dog his ass right now. I know they are.
I don't know. We were looking out the roof here, roof cam of Robert Bokum, and there you see the 2 leaders, the 5 and the 6, and looks like they're staying in line currently as we hit the white flag lap here.
It's white flag now. Go for it.
There we can see the flag stand as we ride with Robert Bokum. White flag out and waving. So now let's see what Sean decides. This is basically a Sean decision. If Sean goes to the outside, will Robert Bokum push him ahead of teammate?
Man. Go for it.
I don't know what Robert Bokum would do in that situation. Does he support the 6 or does he go with the 5?
Dog him. Dog him. There's no points involved here.
Looks like he's letting those 2 decide it on his own. He's not going to be a part of the draft. Robert Bokum, being the diplomat here, Milty, has backed off and let the 2 decide it.
Come on!
And so we'll jump on with Sean. Let's see if Sean can make a move here as they get into the tri-oval. Still a drag race to the line. Sean gets down low, gets a little draft off him, shoots to the outside, but Mark DeSenza has enough.
Great finish there. Great job, Mark. Well, that's why these guys are on Team Bokum. That's why Robert is running a successful team, and that's why he's a, great friend and fan of all of us. I'm a big fan, even though he's not on my team. But you saw how he operated right there, and let these guys. There's no team orders. There's none of that BS. That was just, kids race to the finish there, and they dominated this race, and they've dominated the season, and they've done it fast. And that's just another. As a driver, you really respect something like that. Robert Bokum's won a lot of shit, and he's won a lot of races. But when you understand how these guys operate in the framework of a team, and you see that obviously in my team it's the same way. So I understand that. Also respect that when I see it from another team.
Absolutely, Milty. Like you said, Bokum.
Awesome.
Yeah, Bokum Motorsports has really covered everyone this whole season, and no one works harder to work with his guys than Robert, and at the same time he wins
hard together. They respect
absolutely
each other.
They practice
drive
together. They do everything that a good team does, that a real team does. And Robert has real world experience here, Milty. He knows how a real race team gets successful. He's seen it.
If he had more money, you'd be seeing him on Sundays.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, like we know, racing has turned into money, and unfortunately, some guys have it and some guys don't. But regardless of that, he knows how to organize and work a race team, and he really approaches this in a similar fashion. He works with the guys. They run laps together. They critique. They improve. They run different lines.
Yeah,
they do fuel runs.
I show up on a test session when they're running, they teach me stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
And they don't even think about it twice.
Absolutely. So let's recap this running order here, Milty. Mark DeSenza takes it home. Big win for Mark. Great Pro Cup win. Sean Johnson, teammate, second. Matt Watkins,
Such
third.
A great guy, too.
Derby Don, fourth. And Guy Petra rounds out the top 5 and lead lap cars. So only 5 cars on the lead lap, Milty, with many guys making uncharacteristic mistakes tonight. So the intensity must have been ratcheted up just a little there. Robert Botham, 6th place, but 1 lap down. Steve Weber also with the final pit stop mistake finishes 7th. Scott Tracy, Dave Jandry, and Ryan Tracy. Unfortunately for Dave Jandry, Milty, just I never would be critical of any driver, especially a guy the skill of Dave Jandry.
Yeah,
but
Dave
not
Jandry
pitting.
Reminds me of myself, and he's just I don't know. He's just such a great driver, and but like myself, I make those kind of mistakes.
Well, I'm not going to call it a
mistake.
I mean, he didn't win, so I guess anything short of winning you can say is a mistake. I'm not going to call it as a mistake. I'm just saying that I don't know. I think he might have got hung out to dry. I don't know if guys were signaling the pits. On the front stretch and the turns, or as they were slowing down the enter pit lane. And if you're Dave Jandry and you were the leader there with unfriendlies behind you, they can hang you out. And I don't know that they consciously tried to do that, but that's what happened. And for Dave Jandry, he went from basically P1, P2 to P9 just because of that.
You never know. Shame. I mean, you're sim driver. You're on the track. You're leading the race. You worked yourself up to the race. You're not really sure who's going to pit with you. But yet again, wait a minute. You got to execute a perfect pit stop and then think about all these other guys and also think about the future and think about, the past, where you've been, what you're going to need to do. It's a huge mind complication that definitely, all of a sudden you can execute a perfect stop and the other 2 guys make a mistake. All you can do in plate racing is try to have some friends at the right time without them making a mistake or you, and it just didn't happen for 51. But as we've watched Dave Jandry throughout his career, and he's a winner. He's a winner not just by results, but also by his sportsmanship and his friendship. He's a good friend, and he's just every time I show up in a Pro Cup race, I realize all these talents that I'm up against. And when they make mistakes, it makes me feel okay because I feel like I'm human,
Absolutely, and Milty, you might see up on your screen something a little different.
Johnson Truck Lines.
That's right, and who is Johnson Truck Lines? That's Sean Johnson's company, and he's graciously sponsored this season's Pro Cup Series. So we do want to give a shout out to Sean and his company for sponsoring.
And his wife, and also, he's a fantastic guy, and he's also a great racer. So when you put fantastic guy and great racer together, sometimes they
turn out not to be you.
Sometimes but racing shit's gonna happen,
And
but he sponsored this event, and we appreciate that.
Yes, and I also want to give a shout out to Den Francisconi for doing the paint of the Johnson Truck Lines semi. And I believe that's a Volvo too. So Den throwing a little international flair onto the NASCAR set there with the Volvo hauler. And
it's probably the best them and Mercedes. Make
Also,
the best,
a shout out
haulers.
to Sam Young for making this happen and putting everyone together and working on
Well,
this. We haven't really acknowledged our sponsors that much, Milty.
Well, let's do
so
that.
I do want to thank Sean for all he does and putting up a little cash, providing some trophies, and like you said, Pro Cup winner, man, gets a nice trophy, and we appreciate Sean throwing up the sponsorship for that.
Yeah, I've got I've got some trophies, and you know, not from every season I ran, but when I look around my room here and I see the trophies, like guys like Sam Young and Sean and oh God, I can't remember his name, but you know, the guys that have put up money and trophies for these races throughout the years, and we're still looking for sponsorship and stuff, just, you know, but, you know, and it's pretty cheap, you know, but it just means a lot, you know.
Oh, absolutely,
to have a trophy,
absolutely.
you know.
Any you know, above and beyond is very appreciated around here, and we do appreciate Sean doing that. And quick check here of the this is the rookie standings, Milty, if you can see that now on your screen.
Yeah,
and
rookie of the
what
year.
we're seeing there is Ryan Tracy had a 13-point lead on Ken Ron going into this race in Talladega. We know Ryan had a little problems. I think he finished 8th, 9th, 10th region, and Ken Ron also in that same area. So I don't know if the points are really going to change that much for Rookie of the Year. But Sean Johnson, Milty, is only 28 points out, and he had a second-place finish. So Sean might turn it into a 3-horse race here.
Well, when you look at Sean Johnson, our sponsor, you know, you can't even imagine looking at him as a rookie. But when rookie's just a name, you know, and of course we're going to change that next year. It's going to be FSB series, so you're not going to be called a rookie. You're going to be called FSB.
Yeah, now I'm going to pull up the points, Milty. These are updated points. So I thank Matt for quickly updating those for us while we're on the air. And we can see that Matt Watkins' lead is still a healthy 33 points over Robert Bochum. And really, Mark DeSenza, the only one making hay with his second Pro Cup win of the season. But again, Milty, there's a 10-point separation between Derby Don and Robert, second and third. But after Derby Don, you can see the points are still pretty tight all the way through Mark DeSenza. Just 15 points separating third through sixth. So there's still stuff to race for here in Pro Cup.
Well, and when you look at these drivers, you're looking at champions from other leagues, or pro drivers from this league. You look at the mix of these drivers. You look at becomers like Steve Weber and Guy Pitra in the top 5 there in points. Those are guys that really you wouldn't have thought about a few years ago actually getting to this point at this season. You know, obviously there's the Matt Watkins domination, but when you look at the drive of these guys, you look guys missing races, and of course then you get to meet guys, you know, and starting to know all these guys. You realize how well prepared they are, and that brings pride to your preparation when you do meet the track, you know.
Absolutely,
you race
Milty.
against these guys.
And you know, looking at these statistics here, what really strikes me, like you were just talking about, Steve Weber. I mean, 5th in points in Pro Cup. So an outstanding season by any measure. If you just say, hey, you're going to finish 5th in Pro Cup for the season, you can say, I'll take that.
Oh, absolutely. The way he drives now, when I won my championships, he kicked my ass. You know, I mean, that's the evolution of the league. For a top 5 now is like a a championship when I won things. That's the evolution of the league.
Absolutely, but you can see Webb. How did he get the 5th though? He did it with consistent finishes. 13 top 10s.
Fantastic driving.
Not one top 5, but 13 top 10s, which is basically third overall in all of Pro Cup. So Webb getting the job done with just staying in the top 10, maximizing each finish that he could do, and it's really paid off. He's only 13 points out of 4th. So again, a couple quality races and maybe some bad luck from a couple guys ahead of him, and Webb can really move up in the standings still. So just a great job, and plus he's battling now Mark DeCenza just to point out, and Derby Don and Guy Petra just to point out. So lots of battles going on inside of the top 10.
Yeah, in the history of FSB, we've had field so big that we couldn't even fit all the drivers in, and we couldn't even fit like broadcasters in. Right now, though, the size of the league is smaller than we've seen before, but skill level and sportsmanship level and the whole package is really as cool as it's ever been. But still, there are open spots for people to come in, whether you're we raced back in the day with the Sierra and all that. There's tons of guys out there that have done stuff in their life and this and that, and kind of looking back, maybe they're dusting off their old wheel and stuff. There's a lot of good leagues back in the day, and there's still a lot of pro sim racers out there could rekindle their take their disc and throw it in the computer and
get yourself
let's
some.
go racing.
That's right, and that's what it's all about, Milky.
Great league, great people, and yeah, so that's it.
That's right, and another Talladega race Friday night, Milty, in the Aero Series. Different Talladega track, though. So I think we're doing the revamped Talladega track, which is a lot different than this track. So and we know those old Winston Cup cars drive a lot differently in the super speedway. So I look forward to Friday night's race as well, Milty. I think it's going to be really entertaining. I think we're going to get a big field. I
wish I could be there, but Friday I'm going back to Tehachapi, where my parents live, and but first we're going to pick out some tile. I'm going to retile their kitchen for them, and my stepdad gave me like a $6,000 truck, so I guess I got to do something for them. But they're downsizing, moving out of their ranch, but
well, hopefully they'll have.
I'm going to be. Hopefully they'll have the computer.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give you a shout out, Milty. We'll give you a shout out always.
And I will be watching, and I know it'll be a great show.
Absolutely. So thanks again for joining us tonight. Great win by Mark DeCenza, and good quality race, great strategy, and that's what it takes to win a race here at FSB. So great win for Mark.
How could you not be a fan of that?
Looking forward to doing it again. Absolutely. Thanks.
That's a great stuff.
Man. Yeah, and again, thanks to Sam Young. Thanks to Dan Francisconi for providing the art. Thanks to Sean Johnson for sponsoring the series. Johnson Trucking. And, of course, thanks to the big boss man, Jim Ray, for putting it all together.
Absolutely.
So, and, of course, thanks to my partner, Milty, another good broadcast. And
Milt Minter, that's not Mintner.
Catch you on the flip side.